Here we go. I will just put you on a big screen so I can see everybody. And hopefully everybody will join as we come. So find a nice big space. Can you see me? I'm so far away.
It's fine.
As long as you can hear me, it's most important. I'm going to mute everybody as we start. I feel very rude doing that, but it works best if I then whatever happens in your house doesn't disrupt.
Can you mute me? I can't mute it myself.
Yeah, I'll do it. Oops. Also means you can put me on speaker view. So here we go.
Yeah, that's what I've done. Great.
There you go. So put me on speaker view, then nobody else will be dotting around. Find a bit of a space. Put your feet hip width apart and just roll your shoulders. And let's get moving, and hopefully the other two will come. And maybe we're here. So find that feeling of lifting off your heels. So a little bit of strength in the front of your foot. Scoop your tummy gently in. Don't force that. And then just turn your palms out and lift up and breathe in. And then bend your knees, roll your head over, scoop your tummy in, look forward and breathe out. So we're doing this big lift with the chest and a curl with your head, neck and shoulders. So we won't stay standing for long, just a little bit of footwork, lifting up and then scooping your tummy in as you lean forward. Last one, lift up. Now as you lean forward, place your hands on your knees so you're leaning into your thighs. So I'd say your thighs rather than your kneecaps. And scoop your tummy in like you would in a cat stretch. And then press your sit bones out the back and lift your chest. So we're really trying to move the spine around with control. Lots of weight through the feet. So your toes are relaxed, reaching out, and lots of movement in your spine. And let's do another one. Hold your tummy up so the abdominals are bracing inwards and reach your hands towards the floor. And then bend one knee and straighten the other. So you're walking the knees. I can't know if you can see that. I shouldn't have dark clothing on in this room. So just stretching one leg and bending the other, but try and keep your heels on the floor as you do that. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you're touching the floor or not. So bending one leg and then the other for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then roll your body all the way up bit by bit, hollowing the tummy in, lengthening the spine up. And when you come to a standing position, just go from one foot up and over to the other foot. So lift up one ankle, go onto both toes and then come down on the other. So we're just walking through the feet, warming the feet a little bit. Check that your hips are staying steady, that you're not letting a wiggle or a twist happen. And then we're going to do a little bit of balancing. So see how you're getting on today. So hold your tummy in, pull your belly button gently in, and then lift one knee. Doesn't matter which knee, just see if you can hold it. And then lower down, and then do the same on the other leg. Just lift one leg up. So nothing unusual. Find your balance. Go back to your first leg, which is probably your more comfortable one. And you're going to lift one leg up, and you're just going to push that leg behind you. And then come forward. So the leg presses backwards and then it comes forward. 2 more on this leg, trying to hold your balance. So you'll feel the other foot adjusting and coming forward. 1 more time, leaning slightly forward as the leg goes behind you. And of course we change legs. So lift the other leg up, hold your balance across your hips, check your hips are square, and then just put your foot behind you. Knees can stay bent and then come forward. So as you go backwards, don't worry if you slightly lean from the hip, but keep your abdominals bracing to the spine so there's that sandwich all the time for 2 more. And then come forward. And another one. And come forward and shake out your legs. So we'll come down onto the floor with a roll down. So nod your head forward, hug your tummy in and roll down. Just make sure you're over your mat. And then shake out your shoulders, nod your head. Take a cushion if you want it for your knees and walk down onto the ground and go onto your hands and knees. Wide fingers, knees hip width apart. And do the curl, arch and curl that we did with your hands and your thighs before. So draw the tummy up and nod your nose between your arms. And then press your sit bones out the back, lift your chest through the shoulders. So hugging the tummy in, of course, and feeling how the spine is today. And then find your comfortable position, quadruped, with your back in just a comfortable but not moved, not up, not down, somewhere in the center. And go opposite arm to leg. So I know you know this. As you slide one leg out the back, don't let the hips move as you lift it slightly. And the arm out the front doesn't have to be high, just maybe slightly off the floor. And then come back in again. And then do the same on the other leg, checking that as you swap from one leg to the other, or one arm to the other, that you stay nice and balanced through the center of the shoulders and the hips. So continue just swapping opposite arm to leg. So we're warming up the wrists, just finding that transverse abdominal control. Yep. All good. I'd like you to continue doing this, but now take your leg, bent leg, to the side, so you're hitching the leg up, and your arm to the side, and then come back in. So your leg goes one way and your hand goes the other. Keep your hips steady to the ground. So we're warming up a little bit through the back and side of the hip. Try to avoid letting your pelvis tilt from side to side. So especially Kate, if your SI is hurting at all. Kate B, not Kate W, to see if your SI is going. So you're kind of doing like a little doggy leg out to one side. So Gail, I can't see you anymore. You've gone down on the floor. Don't worry too much, but yeah, there you go. I can see your head now. So from side to side, all good. And then just for a little minute, we're going to come up into high kneeling. So draw your shoulders backwards and bring your hips up. So your shoulders are right up into a high kneeling position. Again, don't worry if I don't see your head. Keep your hips very square and just swing one arm up and the other arm backwards, looking backwards towards your back heel. And then come forward with both arms. And then do the same the other side. Getting a little bit of rotation through the upper neck, shoulder, perhaps chest, and a feeling of opening the hip. That's it. So if you can lean backwards a little bit, that would be great, but don't let your hips move. You might feel, if you're tight in the quads like I am, a little bit of a quad opening. A nice bit of a stretch through the chest and shoulders. Just check out and see how far your hand is from your ankle on the next two. And then on the next one, we're going to change and come to seated. Okay, so swing your feet around, put your feet out in front, and place your hands behind you. So just make sure you've got a little bit of space, hands behind you. Bend your elbows slightly, so you might need to turn your hands further towards the side, so your elbows are slightly bent, and feel the chest stretch as you lift your chest up, breathe in, and then curl and round your spine as you look down to breathe out. So you're lifting up onto your sit bones, lifting the chest up, bringing your face to the ceiling or the sky, and then you're hugging the tummy in, letting your head come back down to a comfortable position, squeezing the tummy back onto your tailbone. Do a couple more of this arch and curl again. So we've done that in 3 different positions. Another one. Great. And then widen your feet a little bit and rock one knee down and the other leg over. So we'd often do this lying down, but we're just still warming a little bit more through the hip. That's a little bit piriformis SI joint there. Yeah, from side to side. Okay, you can feel that we're getting lower and lower to the floor. Before we do that, come to a seated position again. Stretch your legs out in front and just look at your toes and push one toe down and one toe up. And then the other one. So we really want to keep an eye on the feet. Have a look at your feet and check that they're not sickling inward. Sickling is when the ankles move into the center. So we want that ankles to be in a long straight line, or your toe to be a long straight line underneath your ankle. Yeah. Now take both toes up in the air. Take your arms up in the air. Feel maybe a bit of a stretch and feel your hips grab it in. And then breathe out, roll over, and just find that back body stretch. So back of the neck nodding down, shoulders releasing forward, lower back maybe stretching, back of the knees. And if you pull your toes up, right the way down through the calves. Or hold it there. 3, 2, 1, and release. Shake out your legs. Slide your hips forward and roll down to the ground. Once you're on the ground, just roll your spine forward and backwards. And I'm just going to check that the other two aren't waiting for me, because I did put it on a waiting room, and I've just realized. There you go. Okay, so hopefully Julie's there now. We've only done the warm up. Hello. I've got everybody on mute at the moment, so I'm just going to unmute everybody to say hi. Hi, Ambika. Hi, Julie.
Hello, hi, we're here.
We've done a standing warm-up and now we're doing some pelvic tilts, so we'll go straight into that.
I was a bit late and then I just couldn't get in. So
yeah, no, that was me. Okay. All right, see you. I'm gonna mute everybody, so if things happen in your house, it won't matter. So okay, keep doing the pelvic tilts, warming up your lower spine. So we're all good to go. So the nice releasing movement through the lumbar spine. Oh, I'm going to turn my head around the other way. The sun suddenly decided to come out in England. Okay, we're going to slide one leg straight. Bring the other knee into your chest. Relax your shoulders into the ground. And just a really normal, easy hip stretch. Breathing out there. And then release. And then do the same on the other side. Easy stuff, just feeling the lumbar spine, feeling the lower back, maybe opening the hips again. Keep going from leg to leg. And I got somebody else coming, and I'm hoping it's Karen or Diana. Not sure yet. If you can hear me, hi. Keep going for 4 or 5 more alternating legs, and then let's get the head and neck moving. Okay. So whether you decide to keep your legs straight on the ground is up to your lower back comfort, or bending your knees. So here we go. You can bend your knees or leave the legs straight. Place your hands in the air and drop the back of your shoulder blades into the mat. So feel the width of the scapula, feel the opening through the chest, and just start to take your arms overhead and back over the chest. Feel how the ribs will, of course, want to lift up. See if you can just gently draw the ribs down as you breathe out to open the shoulder and the chest and those little muscles through the side of the ribs. So you're trying to avoid any movement through the top of the chest and the shoulder and the rib. Just let the arms move comfortably in the sockets. And now let's add the head lift. So hands to the ceiling. Feel that the back of your head is reaching to the ceiling as you look towards your knees. Or your feet if your legs are straight, and then come back down. You can choose straight or bent legs. Head lengthens up, keep the chest nice and open, and then come down. Nothing unusual, but do feel that you're trying to keep the neck long rather than nod your head forward. It's a real lengthening to the ceiling. So next time you lift your head up, grab the back of your knees and see if you can pull yourself higher. Now let go and hold that extra height, and then lower down again. Here we go. So you breathe out to bring your head forward, grab the back of your knees, lift yourself even higher, let go, and then come back down again. 4 more. So it's lift, grab, hold a little bit higher and let go, and release. 3 more. Bring your head up, grab your knees. Pull yourself higher, let go, and the last 2, head coming forward, grab the back of your knees, lift even higher, let go, and release down. Take your hands wide to the side. If you had your legs straight, bend them up and rock your knees all the way to one side, feeling that lovely reach through the shoulder, the knee, and the hip. And then breathe out as you squeeze the tummy in, and then go all the way to the other. Turn your head the opposite way to your knees. Feel a release through the neck. And just keep going from side to side, nice and slow, and we'll start to step things up a little bit. I've got somebody on a Galaxy 9. If it's Diana, hi. If it's Karen, hi. Just so you know, everybody's on mute. So it's not that I can't hear you, it's I've muted everyone. How you doing, Ambika? Keep going from side to side. And then let's go into single leg stretch. So to remind you what that one is, you're going to bend your knees. You're going to bring one knee into your chest. And for today, we're rounding the spine and pulling your knee in as far as you can. So we're imprinting, if you like. And then you're going to lift your nose to your knee, and you're going to extend the other leg out as low or as high as you want to for comfort. Scoop the tummy in nice and tight and swap. So we're keeping the back steady. We're swapping from leg to leg. And as you grab the knee, see if you can take the opposite arm to the knee. Behind the knee gale if you prefer. And then the same arm as the leg just reaches and relaxes down the side. There is no twisting just yet. Keep going from leg to leg for 4. Heads lifted. 3, 2, last one. And you're done. Bring your knees in and just round your spine into the floor, rocking slightly forward and backwards. Okay, so we're still kind of imprinting the spine. I say kind of because if you let go of your knees and push the knees slightly out, feel how the back wants to lift, but don't let it lift up. Hold the tummy in and take your hands back out to the side where you were when you were doing the twists. This time we're going to do a twist, but you're not going to let your knees part. So go into hip twist, letting the shoulders roll down away from the knees and then come back into the center. And then go the other way, so twisting from hip to hip. If you're used to this stuff, you can straighten your legs straight away this morning if you want to. Gayleen that does Pilates every day. So straight legs or bent knees, really up to you. Just turning your head perhaps slightly from your legs, but not too much. It's really the support and the control in the internal obliques that we're after. Let's do a couple more. And then you'll feel the hips, I'm guessing, from here on in. So bend your knees, place your feet down on the ground and straighten out your legs. So your legs are straight. If you find your back, Stella, if your back really arches from the floor, bend your knees a little bit so that you don't feel that huge arch in the back. And this is what I'd like you to do, is nod your head forward, look along the line of your body, lift your arms slightly into what would be 100 position, and lift one leg off the floor. Check the opposite hip hasn't moved. And then lower your hands, your foot, your head. Repeat the other side. Fingers reach, head lifts, and your leg reaches out. And then come back down again. So continue with this alternating leg lift, but with straight legs or slightly bent Stella, if you need to. That's it. So from one side to the other. Yeah, check that your hips are staying steady. So really make sure that your hip doesn't roll to one side as you lift the leg up. Yeah, so keep going from leg to leg. So in the old days, we'd lift both legs, but that's not going to be what we're after today. So bend your knees in. We're going to go into the hundreds. I know we haven't done this in the last few weeks because I've been nice. So now, relaxing your head, turn your head from side to side a little bit. Hands in the air and shoulders wide. Breathe out, nod your head forward. Feel the length in the back of your neck and pulse your arms very strongly from the shoulders. Breathe in for 5 pulses. Breathe out for 5 pulses. So bear with me because halfway through this, we're going to put one hand behind your head. So breathing in, breathing out. Lift up one knee. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift up the other leg. Swap legs. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift up both legs. Breathe in. Breathe out. Put one hand behind your head. Bounce the other arm. Breathe in. Breathe out. Change arms. One hand, the other arm bouncing. Breathing in. Breathing out. So whether you continue changing your hands is up to you. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now straighten your legs for 2 more breaths. Breathe in. Really pump your arms strong. Breathe out, gets the blood pumping around the heart. One more breath. Lower the legs if you want to. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax. Bend your knees, straighten your legs, whichever. Let your head release. Good stuff. So you'll be feeling the back of your neck's really good. We want the strength there. The length there is normally what happens. And you'll possibly be feeling the hips. So let's go into bridging. Hands comfortably by your side. Feet hip width apart. Hollow the tummy in and roll to bridge. I know everybody knows a bridge. As you get to the top of your bridge, don't lift your head, but bring your eyes down towards the line of your body and check out the line of your hips. And then sink down through the back of your chest, the back of your ribs, down through the waist and into your tail. That's it. So just make sure everything feels comfortable. So Gay on knees, Kate B, hips, Ambika, shoulders wide, hips for Galen. We've all got something right. Kate Wade, I can't remember, I've got to be honest. I don't know what's bugging you today. Okay. And Julie, we're going to make it nice and hard, don't worry. So when you get to the top of your bridge next time, you're going to check the line of your hips and put your hands in the air. Feel the back of your shoulders very heavy into the floor and feel your feet pressing into your mat or carpet. And then as if one leg had a hot air balloon on it, float one leg off the floor and notice how heavy that same shoulder gets. And then come back down again. Transfer the weight very quietly across the hips and float the other leg off the floor. So rather than thinking of the lifting leg, feel the grounding side, the grounding shoulder, the grounding foot. There's your support system. And that's what we're working. We're working the opposite sides of the body, right? So now start to straighten the leg up. We all can. And then come down. Go into the first leg, hold it here, and simply flex and point your foot. 6, 5, so just holding the shoulders wide, that one heavy shoulder, trying to press it across to the other. Hips nice and square. Last foot movement. Change legs, don't drop down. Let's go to the other side. Plant that foot heavily into the floor. Flex and point the lifted leg. Feel that strong, wide shoulder feeling. Hips good and steady. Couple more of the leg extension and leg and foot movement. Plant your foot back into the ground. Keep the hips square. Now as you roll down, hands overhead, ribs coming in. Roll down into the waist, roll down into the back. And when you get to the mat, don't let the hands totally drop. Feel the rib cage pulling strong. Let's roll back up again. Hands to the ceiling, hips to the ceiling, with a rounding, rolling motion through the back. Keeping the arms up and your hips up, lift your toes and turn swiveling on your heels with your knees out. And then lift your toes, swiveling on your heels to bring your knees together. So I'll just turn slightly so you can see my feet going out, hips high, knees coming in. So opening to the sides, closing back into the middle. Keep that nice feeling of strength in the back body and working the hips out and in. 2 more, out and in. Last one, out and in. Stay with your knees in and roll down through the back. So lots more deep abdominals. When you get to the floor, don't stop, don't rest. Open your knees, bring both legs to your bent leg tabletop position. We're going straight into the dead bug. So it's just like you're flailing around on the ground. Same arm as leg is going to dip away from each other. Your toe dips down, your arm goes over next to your ear. And then you come back up to that upside down kneeling position. And then do the same on the other side. Dipping your hand and your leg away from each other. The point of this exercise is to maintain the shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip steadiness. So we were really working that in the back of the body in the shoulder bridge. Keep that feeling of width across the back, shoulders, and length and steadiness through the waist. So sink your tummy down into the spine. And if anybody would like to work really hard, you're going to do both arms and both legs at the same time, 4 times. Don't feel you have to touch the floor in any regard. Breathe out as you take your arm and leg away. You don't have to do both arms, of course. Make sure you're very steady in the back. 2 more. Last one. And grab your knees, round the spine, relax, good stuff. Rock your hips from side to side or forward and back. And just release out through the lower back. Abdominals. Okay, hands behind your knees. Rock and roll yourself to sitting or roll sideways. And bring yourself to a seated position. Just give me a thumbs up that you can hear me, okay? You can hear me, okay? Yeah, good. Nice one, okay. Good, good, good. So we're going to do some seated work, and it's not the favourite of most people, I know. So take your feet about hip width apart. It's not very wide, about hip width. Sit as high as possible on your sit bones. Shake out your legs. Roll your shoulders up, back and down. Go careful, Ambika, with your shoulder. And we're going to take your arms out to the side. So imagine you're pushing the air down. So you're creating strength in your arms, even though there's nothing to push. And then all I'd like you to do is rotate in a twisting motion and check that your heels of your hips stay steady. Turn your head as far as you can and then come back into the center. So unlike the hip twist, we are now really making sure that you're holding your hips steady, and the spiral now comes through the top of the waist, the head, the shoulders, and a little bit in your back arm. Try not to move the front arm too far forward. Okay, this time as we twist around, I'd like you to place your hands behind your head and press your head into your hands and feel that you're opening your back elbow and come back into the middle. Possibly by now you're starting to feel your hips. Stick with it if you can. Pull the back of your head upright and backwards. One more time. One more. And place your hands behind. Shake out your thighs for a little bit. Good stuff. So I was mentioning Ambika, be careful on the shoulder, and all of us, we're going to bring your feet slightly closer together and press your hands a little bit behind you, like we prepared at the beginning, but bend your elbows a little bit. So you've got strength in the shoulder. And then bending your knees if you choose. So I'm going to show you the first one with bent legs. How you doing, Gail? Has the plumber come? Press your feet down and lift, okay, lift your hips and then lower your hips. So bent knees is so much more comfortable for the back of your knee and your hamstring. It's still going to be a lot in the shoulder. Or straight legs, pushing the tips of your heels into the mat and then pressing the tops of your feet down. So I'll leave it with you, whether you have straight legs or bent knees. Nice one, Julie, that's good. So really lengthening through the body, regardless of the leg position. Just so you know, the bent knees will give you a greater stretch through the shoulder. So just be aware of the shoulder joint. Let's do 2 more. And we're going to stay in your bent or straight leg position. And we're going to do some leg raises here. So stay with the hips high, bent or straight, and lift one leg up. 4. And then alternate. Feel the back of the body working through the hamstring, the front of the shoulders. 1 more on each leg. And down, last one. And down, lay your hips down. Shake out your shoulders and roll your shoulders around. Are you okay, Ambika? I can't see you. Okay, good. So grab your knees, the hands behind your knees. Check that there's a little bit of space behind you for rolling, assisted rolling. So assisted means we're helping yourself. We're not just rolling like a ball. We're going to put your hands behind your knees and you're going to hollow the tummy in, a little bit like the preparation at the beginning. Now as you roll down, leave your feet on the floor and let go for a fraction of a second, and then grab your knees again and pull yourself back up. So we're all very different in this regard. This has a lot to do with your back mobility, and of course a bit hip flexor strength and rectus abdominal strength. But we've done the preparations. We did the head lift with that extra hold. We did the lumbar rolling at the very beginning. So of course we're going to try and put those two together. So as you roll down, if you'd like to go a bit further, straighten your legs as you let your head come down to the floor. Don't rest, and come straight back up. Bend the back of your knees and pull yourself up. So you're probably recognizing this. If you are happy with your roll-ups, don't let me stop you to carry on into your full roll-up, not letting your arms touch your feet at all. So the full roll-up, just to go through that, is hands out in front, roll through the spine, let your head lay down just for a second, and then breathe in to prepare and breathe out as you lift. So whether you're grabbing the back of your knees, it's not a cheat. Is an assistance to try and get the spine to roll. So this is what we were chatting with Kate W. and Stella. This really assists the spine to get some mobility in the lower thoracic spine, really just above the lumbar. So do a couple more of your roll-ups in your preferred position. At the moment, we're not going forward. We're just rolling down and rolling up into a seated position. And then in this next one, we're going to go into your forward spine stretch, which is, as you come to seated, hands out in front, scoop your tummy in, nod your head forward and round the spine all the way over like so. And then sit up nice and tall. Straighten your legs for all of us. We're all going to do the same version now. We're going to go halfway down, not touching the ground, just to that sticky area. Then lift up tall, trying to work on that long sit, hands up. And now spine stretch, curling the spine, pulling the belly in, and perhaps flexing your feet so the toes go up to the ceiling. Lift up tall, breathe in. Roll halfway down, breathe out. Lift up to the ceiling, breathe in. Roll over the top, breathe out, spine stretch. And breathe in. Roll halfway back, just because it's a bit dark in some places here, breathe out. And then come back up, breathe in. Yep. Spine stretch forward, breathe out. Breathe in, so the back's really working hard. Last one, halfway down, breathe out. Hold it here, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back up, breathe in. And then forward lean, scooping the tummy in. There's no rest here. Hug your tummy in and really curl the spine under. And release, shake out your legs, good stuff. Turn sideways on because it's just more comfortable. And come into your mermaid position. So Gail, if you're back, no, you're not back yet. The most important thing is the joint of the knee. We're working the joint of the hip, so don't worry about that one too much. But if your knee is uncomfortable, outstretch it. And then try and get the hip to come down and open your arms. And we're simply going sideways, as you know, lifting out through the rib cage into that hip, then come back up. Don't let the hip lift as you go the other side. Don't let your hips lift off the floor. Yeah, and if it's not on the floor, don't worry, just keep trying to ground it in there as you go over towards it. And then lift. So first, a little bit of sideways movement for this morning. And lift 2 more. It's kind of a breathing exercise. Feel like you're squashing the air out of one lung and opening the other. Last one. And release. Take your hands out to the side. Lean back with scooping the tummy in and see if you can swap your legs without putting your hands down. It just looks flash. It doesn't really matter. Hey, we're all doing good stuff. Hands down by your sides. Try and ground that other hip in. Now, possibly this is not your favorite side. We would naturally go into your, your comfortable side. So you might do a few extra here. If you really think this is your favorite side, you can also go back the other way. Try and keep the sit bone really grounding, sinking into the mat, that one that's lifting a bit on the back curled in leg. Encourage your weight gently into the hip as you go over that curled back leg. And we'll do a couple more. Relaxing through the shoulders, nice and airy and comfortable through your arms and neck. Solid and grounded through that hip. Last one. Release. Shake out your legs. Give them a bit of a shake. And then we're going to do some side lying, of course. So I tend to go through this same mold. I will change it in the next few weeks as we get used to it. So you're going to go sideways on and up onto your elbow if possible. So we're working the shoulder and we're working the back of your neck and shoulder. Just lift and lower, just nice, easy. Check along the line of your body that your feet are not too far behind you. They want to be below the hips, in a line, I should say, with the hips and the elbow. And then take your top arm, like we did for your twists, place it behind your head, not just to look pretty, but to push your head gently into your top arm. Feel the back of your arm having to work to do that. And stay with your top leg lifted. We're going to pull your leg forward underneath the hip, and then push your toe backwards. So the nice thing about the side lying stuff is that we can really feel a nice hip extension. Try and avoid any movement in the top of the body. So keep the shoulder blades drawing down the back, lift out of your waist, and don't worry how far your leg moves, but try and keep it solid through your hips and your ribs and your shoulders. Great. So finding that balance on your elbow and the hip for 2 more. Last one. Now I'd like you to continue working this leg. Roll onto your tummy, onto both elbows. The leg you were just working, which is nearest the camera now, lifts and lower. So you're on your elbows. Scoop the tummy in. So Julie, you might want to go a bit lower down onto your chest. And keep reaching through that leg. So I think, Gayleen, this will be really great to open up the hip there. So zip your tummy in and feel the opening through the front of the hip. Try not to let the hip come off the floor. So the working leg, your hip is pressing down and you're reaching your thigh out from the hip. For 2 more. That's it. Last one. Roll back to where we came from. You can get down on your shoulder if you prefer, and then grab the leg that you've just been using and pull it in for a quad stretch. So grab the ankle. Once you've got the ankle, push your knee back down away from you and draw the heel to your backside. Nice big quad stretch. Lift out of your shoulders still. And of course, we've got to do all of those 3 things on the other side. So release, swing around, and start on your elbow the other side. So wiggle around, make sure things are comfy. Here we go. So check that your feet are in a nice long line. Check that your shoulder is comfortable and underneath, your elbow is underneath your head and shoulder. And place your top hand in behind your head, lift and lower. So be very aware of the back of your shoulders, the elbow, top elbow opening backwards, chest opening, and your head kind of pressing into your hand. So the shoulders are sort of set nicely. So with that setting in the upper body and the belly button gently in, keep your legs somewhere lifted and bring your heel to the front and your toe to the back. Thinking of the hip, just swinging around in the socket, the legs swinging around in the hip socket, and a nice opening in the front of the thigh, but with your back out of the equation, so your stomach stays in, and a nice big reach. There you go. So a couple more with that nice reaching feeling and the strong setting in the back of the body. Try not to move. And then we're going to continue working this leg, but bring your body around onto the floor. So come down to both elbows. Julie, open your elbows wider so you can come down a bit. And then pressing both hips into the ground, extend the leg again behind you. So you might find it's much harder to lift, of course. Now really getting into the glute max. If you feel it in your lower back, just like I mentioned before, come further down. Great, we'll do 4 or 5 more. And down. Yeah. Down, a couple more. And down, last one. Roll back onto your side for your quad stretch. So curling your top leg around, grab your ankle. Send your knee down underneath you again. So you're trying to really pull the knee backwards and just check that your foot is in line with your hip, not lifting up. So it's really tucked behind you. So we're going to go into some back bends away from the ground. So Julie, go careful. Oh, that's for all of us. Okay, so swing around onto your tummy. Hands next to your shoulders. Start with that baby back bend as I always do. Elbows drawing away, head reaching forward, and just come to the lowest rib that you can feel. And then come back down again. So I really can't emphasize this more, and I think I do it every single time I teach it, that this is what we want to continue with to release any sort of forward leaning, try and balance out all that forward leaning, leaning forward. Yeah, the seated position. So this is a good enough exercise. You can carry on with this. If you are comfortable and would like to go further, of course, roll up a little bit higher. And as you get to the highest point, breathe in. And now breathe out and go all the way down. So regardless of how high you're going, you're going to drop the shoulders down, press to the height that you're comfortable with, and breathe in at the top. So we're using the in-breath to move the diaphragm to encourage that movement in the top of the back. Let's do another 2, and then we're going to go into neck stretch, which sounds kind of horrible, but it's nice. And then come down, last one. Remember that in-breath at the top, feeling your triceps working. A nice big in-breath, shoulders pushing away from your ears, and then come back down. Good stuff. Tuck your elbows underneath you. Come to a position that's comfortable and really push down with your elbows and lift up with your head. And turn your head as far as you can one side. Drop your chin to your chest and turn your head as far as you can the other side. Drop your chin to your chest. So little half circles from one side to the other, at the moment on your elbows. The most important bit here is to draw the shoulders back and to keep the chest open. So come now down. You can repeat that. So if that felt nice, repeat it. Or you can make it a little bit stronger in your upper back and the shoulders, arms, tucking your arms in. Come to your first swan exercise, the baby back bend. So your elbows are now and your triceps are holding you. And you're going to breathe in at the top. Turn your head, breathe out, and do those head circles. And then come back up. 2 circles, half circles. Come back into the center with your head and then lower down. We'll do that again. So whether you're on your hands or your elbows is your choice. Press down with your shoulders, down with your elbows. Bring the forehead up. Turn your head to one side. Drop your chin to the chest. Circle around. Breathing out, feel the triceps working. Come back into the middle and release. Good stuff. Lie your hands down the sides of your body like an upside down 100 pumping motion. Press your feet into the floor, pump your hands up and feel the crown of your head reaching forward. So once you look away from the camera, you're looking at the floor and lifting your chest up. So your eyes and nose are about 2 or 3 inches from the ground, maybe higher, maybe lower, and pump the back of your arms up. Feel your triceps. Push your feet down into the ground. Try not to let the feet lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Let your hands come around. Nod your head down onto your hands, and hopefully my spoken word is enough so you can rest your neck. When your hands are back and your neck is back into a comfortable position, think of the lower body, and we're going to do heel beats. So widen your feet a little bit and turn your legs out like a ballerina. Knees out, toes slightly out. And then scooping the tummy in, reach your hips down to the floor and your knees out to the back. So you're pushing into the pelvis and your feet are hovering. And then click your ankles together. So you're lifting, clicking, and you can lower if you need to, or you can keep kind of clapping your feet together. Try and relax your neck and shoulders as you do that. You can rest anytime, or you can keep clicking, clacking. Breathing in rhythmically, breathing out. Keep going with those little heel beats. 10, 9, 8. Keep breathing. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. All done. Go into your back stretch. So I say your back stretch. Tuck your elbows under, scoop the tummy in. If your back stretch is a comfortable one in child's pose, this shell position, that's good. If you would rather be in a cat stretch on your hands and knees, curling your head down, that's also good. So choose a position that will release your neck, your shoulders, and particularly your lower back. Okay, we've got some few challenging moves before Julie rushes off to work because we're in England. And the rest of you have your afternoon sundowners. I'm so jealous. Come back up to your hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. You know we've got to do it. Fingers wide. Take a deep breath in and lift your hips off the floor. It's got to be done. From here, you choose your challenge, right? So I'll give you options. Lean forward, lengthen your body into your long plank position, hips nice and square, and then come back up. So this is the first challenge, and this is what is needed. This is the most important bit. If you need to take a break at any stage, you come down and place your knees down like I am now, and then you lift back up again. So like I say, I'm just going to build from here. Choose your challenge point. We're all girls, so there's no competition. It's the boys that compete, right? So find your plank position, whether that's on your knees or on your toes. That is up to you. And then lift one foot off the floor and down. Lift the other foot off the floor and down. Lift one hand off the floor and down. Lift the other hand off the floor. Are you okay, Ambika? And down. Knees down for a second or hips up, you choose. Breathe in and breathe out. We'll repeat. So choose your challenge. It's not a, if you go on the knees, it's not a problem. Reach out, find your long plank position. That could be a 3/4 plank position on your knees. Lift up one leg, breathe out. Lower down. Lift up the other leg. Draw your tummy in deep, strong. Lift up one hand. And down. Lift up the other hand. And down. Lift your hips in the air. Look at your feet and walk your ankles into the floor. 10. We'll do it one more time. 9, 8, 7, 6. So feel that calf stretch. One more time. Here we go. So here we go. Find a nice long plank position, your plank position. Wide shoulders, wide chest, knees down if you need to. One leg lifting. Lower down. Keep the hips nice and strong regardless of your knee position. The other leg. Lower down. One hand. Lower down. The other hand. Lower down. You are done. Bring your knees in. Sit backwards into your hips, heels. Go into your stretch position and relax. Good stuff. I'm just going to go through some seated stretches. So when you're ready, swing your legs around. Sit cross-legged. Open your shoulders, wriggle the shoulders, turn your head around from side to side. And then just go into a nice easy shoulder stretch, which is hand across the body, bottom arm pulling in, and just stretch it. Just easy stretch just after that last exercise. Feels good. Take that hand away and do the same on the other side. So cross body, just folding the arm in. Nice long breaths. And then place your hands behind you and lift your chest nice and high. So if you've got that cushion, or I don't know if anybody does have one of these balls, So a cushion behind your lower back. So grab the cushion, fold the cushion, and place it behind your upper shoulders. So you're slightly risen from the ground. So you curled the cushion in, or you've got the blue over ball. Once you've got that cushion behind your shoulder blades, put your hands behind your head and widen your chest. Take a nice long breath in, and then come forward again. And then again, widen the shoulders and come forward. Keep going with those. And I would say while we're here, if you can order one of these online, the overballs, it's just so good, especially if you're working from home. It's just so good to open the chest in this one. And then we can also do some core control in the thighs. There's loads of stuff you can do with these balls. Easy to order online because obviously you can deflate them. So a couple more of your chest openings. And then we'll come back up to sitting. Dogs coming in the room. Okay, bring yourself back up to sitting. If you do have that ball, you can use it again. Cross your legs over. If you're using the ball, put your ball in front of you and slide forward. You don't need the ball at all. You can just slide your head, neck, and shoulders forward. Let your shoulders release, your neck release. Julie, if you need to run off, I understand. Yeah. Okay, bye. Come back up, cross the other leg over in front. So your uncomfortable leg now goes in front. So it's more a stretch of the hips. Walk your hands forward, nod your head down, and stretch through the back of your shoulders. It's all gone dark, Stella. So while you're just releasing the neck and the shoulders, I'm just going to take you all off mute so that you can chat before we go. There we go.
Oh, that was good.
All right, you are all finished for today. So if you need to run off, I totally understand. Stella, you need to find some lights. I would like to start doing a lot of this by email. So hopefully I've got all of your emails. And yeah, I think I've got everybody's emails. So thanks for all your payments. Oh, there's the lights. Nice one, Stella. I'm glad you joined us, Ambika, right at the last minute. Are you okay? Your wrist hurting?
I know. You know, my wrist.
Yeah.
I did the plank.
Yeah.
I'll use something else next week. Yeah.
A little bit of everything, I hope, helps. Okay, well, same thing next week. Just so you know, if you miss the class... Oh, good. If you miss the class, I will send you a recording. I'm just about to stop that.